Hey, potty peoples out there, this is Roy Carter from Rectitude Media. Just wanted to throw this video up here. It's one that I took of the Ontario Health Coalition. They stopped in Ingersoll on their wonderful tour all through Ontario with a giant rocking chair. And it was actually kind of amazing how they managed to put that rocking chair just in one tiny vehicle. It's actually kind of a feat of engineering Tetris. Anyways, there's going to be a protest at Deb Matthews' office in London, and that is on June 26th at 12 p.m. That is noon for all those wonderful people out there. Anyways, if you have any questions at all, there is the phone number for the Ontario Health Coalition. I'll try putting it in the description below and the website. But if you have any questions, I do believe that there is a bus being paid for by UNIFOR that's leaving Ingersoll before that, and that's a free bus if anybody wants to go on it. Their number is 416-441-2502, and if you ask them about the upcoming Southwestern Ontario Day of Action, you can do that. I will also post links in the description for the Ontario Health Coalition. Well, that's pretty much it. Here's the video, and I'm sure it'll probably be all the details in there if you listen closely. Alright, take care.
The Ontario Health Coalition, then we'll give people opportunities too. It was in the spring of last year that I was talking to lots of people, and somebody said, what on earth are we going to do? She was a lovely lady, and she admitted to being in her 80s. She said, what on earth are we going to do? I am the primary caregiver for my friend who's as old as I am and who cannot get the health care she needs. And I remember choking up like I am now because I was thinking about my mother, who was the primary caregiver for her neighbor down the street. Should she fall or need help in the course of the day, my 91-year-old mother was the person to go and help her, because there was not the kind of health care that people need. So Peter's going to tell you a little bit more about what the picture is in Ontario right now, and about what we can do to make sure that in Oxford and Ontario, and in Ingersoll in particular, that we get the kind of long-term care that people need, the people we love, and the people that we care for. Peter.
Yes, thank you. Well, good morning, brothers and sisters and citizens of Ingersoll and Oxford County. I'm Peter Boyle, volunteer with the Ontario Health Coalition. And Don Arkell, over there in the black, we've been taking this around for the last 2 years to communities big and small around Ontario to raise awareness about an issue that we may be facing now, and if you are, you'll know about it, and if not, you're going to face in the future. The rocking chair, which the mayor is rocking on, is a symbol of care. He's being comforted right now, even though he might not look like it. When you're comforted on a chair, is a symbol of comfort when you're a baby, and a symbol of comfort and fulfillment when you get into your old age. And our motto, it's time to care, the rocking chair really fits that. However, there's a big problem with the long-term care homes in Ontario. And there's two major issues, and a lot of other ones that we're trying to raise the awareness on as we tour around Ontario. The first one is the amount of care, and the second one is patient rights. So just on the care side of it, and they kind of interchange back and forth, here's the history. In 1996, the Conservative government removed the regulations for long-term care homes to zero. There have been no regulations whatsoever on hours of care, average hours of care per resident per day in long care homes in almost 20 years now. We're advocating for a minimum of 4 hours average of care per patient a day. Some may need a little bit less, some may need a lot more. And that's because of the acuity and chronicness of the population as we live longer. You know, in the 50s, the average age of a male was 68 and a female 78. Now we're up into the upper 80s for both of us. So we've got a problem. And we're talking about a minimum level of care to do such things as, think about it this way. We're young, we're able to move around. Every move you make from the time you wake up in the morning, rolling over in bed, shutting off an alarm clock if you're not retired like me, getting out of bed, getting to the bathroom, some people in long-term care homes need that assistance for every move. Others can do a little bit more on their own. But there is no standards of care. So what happens? People have been telling us that their parents are being warehoused in long-term care homes. They're being put in diapers because although the aides, the personal support workers, the administrators, the nurses, all the staff work as hard as they can, they're only allotted so much time and too many patients to get the job done right or to give any sincerity, as much sincerity as they want to and caring that they really want to. So there's a problem with adequate levels of care and resourcing in nursing homes. And that means that our elders, the ones that built the schools and built the infrastructure for us, for the baby boomers, they saw it coming. They fixed the world for us when we were growing up, and we're not doing it for them. We're warehousing them in these long-term care homes, not giving them the care they need. And that's if they can get into them. The other side of the equation on patient rights is this. The government, rightly so, says that you can go into any long-term care home of your choosing in Ontario. Now, there's 77,000 beds in those long-term care homes. However, with a wait list of 20,000 people, and that wait list of 20,000 has been at that level for the last decade, your choice starts to become not really reality at all. It means if there's an open bed, the average 5-month wait time, which it is right now in Ontario, to go from your home to a long-term care bed doesn't mean a local long-term care bed. It means one within the lens. So it could be 50 kilometers up the road or further, not necessarily one in close to your community, your family, and your friends who are in the long-term care homes as much as they can be to add to care. The other side of the equation is the attack on hospitals, the cutting of hospital beds, the closing of hospitals, because when they close hospital beds for us that go in and out every day for emergencies and other healthcare issues, they're also closing the chronic care beds that seniors that are in there waiting for a nursing home, and the average wait from a hospital where there's an adequate level of care in a hospital to get into a long-term care home is 2.5 months average in Ontario. So as those beds close, there's less resources from a hospital. And when you do find a long-term care home, then the people that work there are working themselves to death. They're crying every day. We've heard with this chair going around Ontario, the 24 communities last year and 24 communities this year, we've heard some absolute horror stories. Now, I'll just give you a couple examples. One personal support worker told us that he had 15 minutes every morning to get 7 residents awake, out of bed, cleaned up, and down to have their breakfast. Now, think about how long it takes you. And he's saying, I just don't have time to treat them the way they should be treated. There's not enough time to put the dignity and respect in there. Another woman that came up to us in front of a long-term care home said, here's my situation when we were talking about the average wait times from home. She said, my elderly mother, we were waiting to get her into a long-term care home. I had to move all the furniture out of my living room because the hospital bed I rented wouldn't fit into any other room. And it cost me $6,000 a month for 6 months until I finally got into a care home that wasn't really the one I wanted. It was a little further away, but we couldn't afford to wait any longer to pay for the over and above charges that the community care access would. So this is a big problem. How do we fix it? Well, the personal support care workers, the nurses, the doctors, the administrators in long-term care homes, they're doing everything they can. The people that need to fix this, the practitioners to fix this chronic ailment, are the MPPs in Queen's Park. And we had a government in '96 that started leading us down this road, and no government since then has taken it upon themselves to say we need a minimum standard of care in nursing homes. So we need to get to our city councilors. We've had a lot of mayors, city councilors coming up. Some of them say, I don't think we can do much about it. It's not in our purvey. We say, yes, you can. You can pass a motion in your council. You can send a letter to your MPP and advocate. And we've heard it from mayors and councillors that say, we're attracting retirees into our community. And we're telling them, well, what about the health care for them? And what about long-term care in 20 years' time when they can no longer stay in their home? So the issues around this are great. So we ask you to write a letter to your editor, send an email to your MPP, tell your neighbors and friends. We have 20,000 cards that are symbolic of the 20,000 people currently on a wait list in Ontario that's been there for a decade. Yet the government has got thousands and thousands of petitions already. So we need to keep their feet to the fire and make them fix this problem. Our elders looked after us. They set the stage for us to be where we are today in society. We owe them the dignity. We owe them the respect. We owe them the treatment, the proper treatment and care that they require in their final years on this earth. Thank you.
It's just that awareness, you know. Awareness is the biggest thing that I've found over the last time that I've been mayor for the last 5 years is getting the information out and getting awareness. Do you have, by any chance, passed or motions that have been placed within municipalities with their jurisdictions?
We don't, but we will connect you up with Natalie Mayer at the Ontario Health Coalition. And I can tell you afterwards the different communities, I'll have to get Don to remember me. Renfrew, there was a number where the mayors and councillors come out. What we've done is given them a package of background information and everything and hook them up with Natalie to prepare motions.
What you want to do is prepare the right motion.
Yes.
Make sure it says what it's supposed to say and directly, and not just flower it up, but get the point across and make sure it's effective.
The idea is really we need to lobby the government to act on this. And, you know, they listen to votes and they listen to voices, and sometimes they listen to us a little bit louder when it's around voting time. However, this is something that it's a question of dignity and respect, and it's an issue that anyone that we bumped into, we've been around, this is 45 cities and towns. There hasn't been one person come up to this chair, and we've seen hundreds and hundreds that have been through the system, and they know about it. They have a loved one in a long-term care home, or they work in a long-term care home. Or yesterday in Leamington, a woman that was an administrator for CC Community Care Access that had experienced a long-term. Everyone says there's a problem. No one says it's fine. So, but the only people that know about it are those that have hit the system. We're all heading there. Remember, the generation that's not being served now are the ones that were born in the 20s, came through the Depression, came through the war years, and we haven't hit. I'm in the baby boomer generation. There's 10 times more of us, and we're heading here too. So it's a big issue, but it's a big issue right now. We can't wait for my generation to get into the rocking chair. We've got to act for the generation before us. They're the ones that are lacking the care right today.
And so Peter ended with the question of what action can you take, and there's a number of things you can do. We have lots of the postcards that will go, and you're welcome to sign one of those if you haven't already done so. We'll make sure that they get into the hands of the Health Coalition, who will present them to the legislature. We're also going to take a bus. I'll just wait till this goes live. 2 weeks from now, on the 26th at 10:45, so quarter to 11. We're going to get on a bus at UNIFOR's 88 Hall, and thanks to UNIFOR for being here today too. We're going to get on that bus that's being paid for by the Oxford Labour Council, and we're going to go to Deb Matthews' office, and we're going to explain to her what is the issue that she needs to deal with for us here as well. I mean, it's not just us, the whole province needs to be fixed, but she could start here and we'd be okay with that. So I invite everybody then that has not already done so, either through another group, to talk to Zoe, who currently has the clipboard, which is the bus bookings, if you haven't already got on that, to get a postcard and to do something with that postcard, and make sure that we get to hear your voice as well. And if you have stories about members of your family, loved ones, whether they be older or younger, who need chronic care, who need long-term care, then, and if you're prepared to share them, we'd be happy to hear you say them to us now, if anybody wants to talk about that. And if it's too personal, that's okay too. But thank you all very much for coming here today, and thank you for doing the work that you do to make sure that there is proper care for people.
Anybody wants to get a picture on the chair, come on up. Tweet it out, put it on Facebook.
Yeah, let's get everybody in for
We have
photo.
information over here if you want to put a little bit of what it's about when you do. Getting the word out is the main thing.
And I will then connect you up with
You'll all come in at once.
I want to make sure.